Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just, fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
White Sox fans, welcome into the Sox on Tap postgame show. It's Jonnie Nani here, along with Tony Marchese, unfortunately discussing 4-3 White Sox lost to open the series at Kansas City. Tony, first of all, how you doing, man?
Johnny, it was a rough day. I'm not feeling great after that one. I'll be completely honest with you. Like I was excited for a baseball game today. There was a lot of positivity coming off of last night. There was exciting news. Eloy Jimenez back in the lineup, and I feel let down right now. I'm a little low. Like I've got it's just a case of the Mondays or something here. How are you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the exact same way of what you just described, and part of it just, inflicted with the White Sox outcome tonight, and that was just falling short because, they fell behind and did mount a couple of semi comebacks, but those never got over the hump. Kansas City would re-extend the lead, and the Sox would come back within one and then fall short again in the end. So we'll get to all the details of the game here. But before we do, make sure you are visiting ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. You can give us a follow on social media at Sox on Tap, at OnTap Sportsnet. The show is brought to you by Grandstand, so make sure you are visiting Grandstand for all White Sox and Chicago sports merchandising needs. You can visit them right by the ballpark, 35th and Wallace. Shop online, grandstandsox.com, and follow along on social media for new releases at Grandstand Sox. Tony, starting this game, big headline coming in is Eloy Jimenez returning to the lineup. I wanted this to provide a spark. It did not.
It didn't. It did not provide a spark at all. And we were talking a little bit before the show started, Johnny, and I feel the same way you did. And I'm going to leave it for you to say, but the addition to the lineup that has been billed as Eloy Jimenez coming back, it's going to be so much more of a dangerous lineup, which was already a lineup that was capable of putting up 5+ runs a game. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. You see people on Twitter making bets about the White Sox scoring 6+ runs tonight. Eloy Jimenez hitting a home run. People parlaying that. There's a lot of a good energy around this ball game tonight, and then you get a piss poor showing from the offense. A couple things go awry. It just did not feel as electric or as promising as I thought it was going to be maybe 5-6 hours ago.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of the buildup that White Sox fans have placed upon, Eloy's return, because obviously it has been a long, long time. It was near the end of spring training when the injury took place. So lamenting throughout all of the first half of the season and even, a couple stretches afterward here, now that we are post All-Star break. And I think the hype was at a different level, and then the production was at a level that obviously did not produce anything. So that's just unfortunately the way it went down for Eloy tonight. But in the grand scheme of things, let's say that this, I'm not completely shocked at what we saw, at least from him individually. And it was, he was a bit aggressive, reaching for some pitches. Going to take a little bit to get back into the full swing of things, facing major league pitching. I think Stone brought up a good comment. You could hit minor league pitching for, years, and you come up to the bigs. It's a different ball game. It's just a different talent level. Professional pitchers versus minor league pitchers. So especially when you're at AAA for your most recent one too. If you're wanting to face the best talent, you'd probably be at AA. So obviously it was more just conditioning, getting everything feeling right physically there, and making sure it was good before he came up. But either way, he goes 0 for 4 tonight, 1 strikeout. He almost did have a hit down the third base line, but that was a nice play there over by the line, and it did beat him. Once again, Eloy does not have blazing speed, as we know. So that was Eloy's, welcome back hopefully it provides a little bit more of a spark going forward here. But let's talk with White Sox on the pitching side. Dallas Keuchel getting burned by the long ball, Tony. 3 solo shots he allowed, and then a pair of back-to-back extra base hits in the middle of that in the top of the 6th inning. And that is what did the White Sox in today. That is how Kansas City got their runs. I like to see this from Dallas Keuchel here.
No, you don't like to see it from Dallas Keuchel. And there was a lot of Dallas Keuchel slander, a lot of Dallas Keuchel hate out there on the interwebs during the start. And we've talked about this on this show multiple times about Dallas Keuchel and how he just it hasn't been the guy in the rotation that you can lean on and be confident with on the mound in certain situations in games like this. I was talking a little bit with NWI Steve, who frequents the show, as most of our longtime listeners know, during this game. And I said, I tweeted some things out too, that I don't think that you'd have as much Dallas Keuchel, angst online tonight if the White Sox offense had come out and done exactly what you expected them to coming into this game. If the White Sox come out and put a 5-6 run spot up within the first 3 innings, I think Dallas Keuchel had the ability tonight to cruise through some of this stuff. And you've seen that happen before. You've seen Dallas Keuchel, completely handle lineup. This year just hasn't been the same Dallas Keuchel that we've expected when we got him. There's been less ground balls. There's been a few times where he's prone to giving up a long ball. Tonight it was Soler who took him deep twice. Those are just things that you're not going to get away with when your offense doesn't score a lot of runs. So it puts a lot of onus on the starting pitcher. When you're pitching from behind, you're trying to just, get through some things. Obviously, I talked last night about Seby Zavala being the complete package to Lance Lynn. Maybe he doesn't have that same rapport with Dallas Keuchel. That does happen. But going to that cutter, it just hasn't looked good for Dallas much this year. And, a couple bad pitch calls. Poor execution from Dallas, and you wind up giving up a couple of runs. I didn't think that was insurmountable, though, Johnny. How about you?
Nope, you bring up a couple of great points there, and you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to touch on the cutter quickly. Obviously, just not as crisp as it was last year when he was, up there. And granted, not maybe top tier of it, but he was up there somewhat in some Cy Young voting. That's how good it was last year. And granted, shortened season, so different set of circumstances there. But either way, you can look at it and watch him pitch. Go and rewatch, replays of it and see that the cutter comparing it this year to last year is not the same. But then that you bring up an even bigger point about run support, and it just has not been there as of late. Obviously, we talked about it yesterday on the Sunday Funday show about scoring 5 runs all weekend in Milwaukee. That's not great. You only get 3 here tonight. I totally love the sentiment that you brought up, because I was starting to slander Dallas Keuchel there a little bit. And sure, he does. Anyone deserves criticism, especially when you're giving up the long ball like that, immediate runs for the other team. But you could have another starter do that, and you get touched up. And if they're only solo shots, your offense is able to support him a little bit. And then you're talking about a win for that guy, and you just kind of shove those to the back of the, memory bank. And you're like, okay, well, whatever, you let those up, but we scored 6 runs, so it didn't matter.
Exactly. And that's where I'm coming from here, because this White Sox offense, when we started this year and through the first half, you're talking about, large run differentials. Granted, you had a few extra guys in there through part of that to help you out in Luis Robert, Yasmani Grandal. There was a couple other guys in this lineup, Nick Madrigal, who was able to continue some rallies. You're missing some of those guys right now still too. That's kind of important. But I think the sentiment here that I'm just really trying to push home is, Dallas Keuchel gives up 4 or 5 runs to the Royals. The White Sox offense still has the ability to go out there and have those 10-run games where this start doesn't look as bad for him. So it's all just perspective, how we look at things. Granted, the stat sheet at the end of the day for Dallas Keuchel isn't going to look crystal clean here at all. He still had his blemishes, but let's also put some onus, I think, more on the offense performing early in this game. Give the guy some run support. This is the Kansas City Royals, and we've had some problems with Mike Minor, but we've also beaten him this year. So we've got to get out there and start attacking early. And I've called this, the recipe for success for the White Sox throughout the season. get out there and give your guys some run support. You saw it for Lance Lynn. He did it himself because this offense has been struggling so bad that Lance Lynn goes out there on Sunday night and gives himself the run support that he needs. You know, it's kind of funny to laugh back at that. I'm not being totally serious with this, but you have to do that at points in time in order to continue to win ball games.
Yeah, and my mantra for them would be, you know, score early, score often. And granted, that is much easier said than done. You know, sitting here and watching them and screaming at the TV.
Hey, victory beers taste better than misery beers, Johnny.
The thing is, Jonnie, the thing that's frustrating, I think, for us is because we have seen them score in bunches. We have seen it before, even with a more depleted lineup than is out there right now. There was a stretch where Jose Abreu was out, you know, with a banged up, I think it was an ankle after that slide at KC. And the White Sox were putting up runs the next series. Like, you know, they were giving their guys run support. So we have seen it without some big bats in the lineup. Moncada being out over various, you know, day-to-day soreness that he's endured, and White Sox are still able to get it done at certain points. So yeah, hopefully Eloy getting back in here can find a groove and help provide some of that spark because they're going to need it. So as we're talking through this one here with the White Sox scoring, how it went down, you know, when they're down 3-0 in the top of the sixth, and Duvall leads off with a walk, Timmy hits a double, and then Andrew Vaughn. I think this can get lost in this game just because it was a loss, a little lethargic overall. But Andrew Vaughn is hot as hell right now, Tony.
Yeah, he is, Johnny. And Andrew Vaughn, you know, there's been a lot of talk about him. I see the people starting to clamor for him to be, you know, rookie of the year. We don't know if that's actually going to happen. He did start out a little bit slower than what I would have expected him to at the plate. Although, if you look at his overall game, Johnny, the way he's adapted to left field so far this year, he's played excellent out there. The fact that he came up and basically changed positions. Now he's starting to be this clutch hitter. I said it during the game when I was watching him. It's like, it just feels like he's not going to strike out. He's going to make contact. He's going to make solid contact. And a lot of times there's not a guy in this lineup, at least at this moment and through major stretches of this year, where when you're looking for a guy to get you out of something or make something happen, it's Andrew Vaughn who I want at the plate. I'm just comfortable with him there. He passes the eye test at basically everything so far as just a baseball player, a dude that knows this game, who's going to continue to grow. And it's amazing to think, Johnny, just how early he is in his career and how advanced he looks.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, the part of that was adjusting to hitting right-handed pitchers. Obviously, a lefty on the mound to start tonight, like Minor. But
yeah, there's still work to do for him, though. There's still work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a rookie. But obviously, the bat tool is there. There's a reason he was so highly touted when he was selected in the draft as, you know, the best overall bat in that class. So good to see for him. And, you know, unfortunately, it sticks out because there hasn't been a lot of offense lately. But you get the home run. Granted, it was garbage time, but, you know, he's only offense on Friday night in Milwaukee. Hits the late inning double on Saturday night. And I think he racked up a hit on Sunday night as well. But either way, you know, you get that was a big spot here today in the top of the sixth with that 2 RBI single to make it 3-2 White Sox within striking distance. This kind of upsets me after this, though. I know, you know, with Eloy, we talked about already, is, you know, going to take a little time to adjust back. But Abreu flies out after Vaughn there. Eloy strikes out, and then Moncada strikes out there too. That one hurts because Moncada did tattoo the ball a couple of times throughout this game. Obviously, we'll get to that a little bit later in the ninth inning, but his first 2 outs, I believe, he had hit those pretty well. It sucks because in this spot, he strikes out at this juncture. I wouldn't have been as disappointed with how that inning came to a close if he had just made like a hard out there. I know the end result still would have been the same, but that's just a weird like feeling I get when watching this stuff, Tony, because it's not very opportunistic.
No, it's not opportunistic. And I know you like when guys come up and provide immediate results, Johnny, but the problem with this one is more of the momentum killer that you get when your 3, 4, 5 guys kind of kill a rally like that. And Jose Abreu, he was my pick to click tonight. Obviously, on the show last night, I strayed away from Gavin Sheets, and that was probably a good move just because he wasn't in the lineup tonight and did not get a pinch hit appearance. I'll talk about that one a little bit later. But the fact is, you cannot have your 3, 4, 5 guys go down when the offense actually starts moving. That to me was probably the turning point in this ball game. And we talk about momentum, Jonnie. If you are a listener of this show and tune into Four Feathers podcast, which is so Jonnie and I do about the Chicago Blackhawks, we talk about how important momentum is in hockey all the time. I don't think we bring it up a lot on this show specifically, but it's almost the same essence, Jonnie, for a team to come back and score a late period goal. To close out the second period and bring yourself within one, and then, come out to start the third period, and all of a sudden the other team, puts up a tally right away. That's what it felt for me. If I'm comparing this to hockey, It was like, there's the buzzkill right there. When your 3, 4, 5 guys go down, especially striking out, not making that hard contact, not giving you any sort of semblance of, we're in this, because those are the guys that you rely on. And the White Sox have gotten so much magic out of, role players, bench guys, back of the order guys, that it at some point in time, that's going to run out through the course of a ball game. And you saw them come back and get themselves in it a little bit later. But imagine just for 2 seconds that Yoan Moncada or Jose Abreu hits a double over that stretch, and you can extend that inning out just a little bit longer. You might get Minor out of the ball game a little bit earlier. You might drive that pitch count up a little bit. You don't know how that's all going to play out. Your 3, 4, 5 guys have to do some damage there when the offense starts moving. That just killed all the momentum for the offense tonight, and I feel like that's a huge reason this team lost this game.
Well said. The line started moving, and you would hope that your, heart of the order can keep the line moving. They were not able to do that in the top of the 6 here. And going back to your point about, the other team coming out, when you use the hockey reference, you score the late period goal, and then to start like third period, the other team, scores one right away, and that kills the momentum. Well, that's exactly what happened here in the bottom of the 6th. It was Benintendi, 2-out solo shot. So, Dallas Keuchel almost getting through that, and then Andrew Benintendi comes up, smacks a solo shot out the opposite field, makes it 4-2. And that would be it scoring wise until we get to the top of the 9th, where the White Sox, fall short once again with the rally. Moncada, props to him for going opposite field. Nice double, ground rule double into the corner there with 1 out. And then Adam Engel, RBI single. Nice to see him, get involved with this too. And then Goodwin, pinch hits here for Hamilton. I know this is probably where you wanted to see Gavin Sheets.
It's where I wanted to see Gavin Sheets. And, I think, all things aside, Jonnie, I think Goodwin's plate approach was fine. He should have been. He
also did get hosed on a call.
He got hosed. He got hosed there. And I think that, we could be talking about a White Sox winner here tonight, despite some of the other trials and tribulations that this lineup went through throughout the ball game. If the call was a ball there, but this is where I would have rather seen Gavin Sheets. And, there's a lot of people out there who are asking, where the TLR supporters are with how Tony handled this one. Obviously, the end result was not good. And there's a lot to unpack here. You've got Adam Engel on first base. You've got a hit and run call. And you've got Goodwin up there who should have been already on first base. And he lines out into what turns into the game-ending double play, Jonnie. The hit and run call, I think that's fine. You're trying to avoid the double play. The only thing that you cannot do in that situation is basically hit a line drive to an infielder that's going to screw you right there. So I'm okay with how Goodwin approached that. There was the first pitch in that at bat where he could have laid off of it, and maybe the tide turns there as well. So you can make that argument too. But I wanted to see Gavin Sheets there just for one reason, Jonnie, and that's because Gavin Sheets, within recent memory, has come up in a situation like this and actually delivered. And for a young ball player who had just provided you some magic with a walk-off home run in an electric moment and has so much power from the left-hand side, I felt like it probably would have been more beneficial to go with Gavin Sheets there. What would the result would have been is TBD, because we don't know. He could have struck out on 3 pitches. I still would have rather seen him there. I think the power is just a little bit more than Goodwin. I think the plate approach for Gavin Sheets there just maybe would have favored him. Although, I'm not the manager of the White Sox, so I can't make that call.
Yeah, good point there about the recency thing, because you talked about the walk-off moment there. You briefly mentioned it, but it was Saturday night in Milwaukee. That was a specific instance where he came off the bench, pinch hit, and got the job done. He got a single in the
There's
spot.
two of them there.
So,
There's two of them there.
Yeah.
The pinch hit in Milwaukee, as well as it wasn't a pinch hit situation, but he did deliver a walk-off home run within, what was that, like about a week and a half ago?
It was the second game. It was exactly a week ago. It was the second game of that doubleheader and that Monday against the Twins.
So in clutch spots, Gavin Sheets has shown up, and I look at that and I say, you're looking for a lefty off the bench to come in and pinch hit. You could go to good win on defense if you bring this thing to the bottom of the ninth. I just thought that if you're looking for somebody to provide you that late power, I think there's no bat that's more dangerous right there off your bench than Gavin Sheets. So, if people are looking for guys who have supported Tony La Russa through things and want to question something, here it is. There's my problem. And it's not just because I love Gavin Sheets. It's because I think he would have been able to provide you a little bit more power. Maybe it's a double to the gap that ties the ball game. Who knows? And maybe it's a 3-pitch strikeout. But that's who I would have went to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a what have you done for me lately, or a ride the hot hand kind of thing. I would agree, and you have the power potential there too. So you could also be talking about a scenario in which the White Sox are up there, and if he puts one out of the park like he did just a week ago tonight, you're talking about a different situation here. But we'll never know. Butterfly effect, if that would have happened, if the result would have been the same, different, whatever. But as far as the decision, the hit and run there, I get the process behind it. It just sucks when it doesn't work out like that. Because even with Adam Engel's great speed, if that ball is hit on the ground instead of on a line, second base, I would say he gets doubled up without running.
Yes. There's so much that goes into this, Jonnie, and these late inning game situations. And a lot of people are going to turn a very critical eye to how this team handles it, and specifically Tony La Russa, because there's been a narrative about him all year. And there's a lot of people who are looking to drive home certain specific narratives about how he's handling certain situations. And that's fair. We'd be doing that regardless of who the manager is. I think that we can make an argument that, anybody who's in this situation would be under a microscope when it comes to this. I'm fine with it. And watching the post-game show too, you look at, two great baseball minds in Ozzie Guillen and as well as Scott Podsednik. Both being fine with the hit and run in that situation. There's some people who are going to say, why did you do that there? Well, if you don't hit a line drive to an infielder, you're probably avoiding a double play and at least getting another at bat here to try and tie the ball game or go ahead.
And I got another reason for it. It's look at the track record of across all the coaching staff, not just one Mr. Tony La Russa. The aggressiveness has been ticked up in recent weeks. You remember that Joe McKeon send of Adam Engel? Those are decisions that are definitely discussed amongst the full staff. It's not just TLR making one call. Obviously, he does the executive decision there in that juncture to call the hit and run there, but it's a mentality of applying the pressure to the other teams there, and potentially elongating the game at that point in time, avoiding the double play, all of that. So mentality of aggressiveness, I can live with it, because that ball gets shot through the other side there. You're talking about first and third with Engel on the move there with how great a speed he has. So down the line, right field, he might be scoring if Goodwin hits the double down there. So that's just the summary of the situation that unfortunately ended the game. Like you mentioned, White Sox dropped series opener here 4-3. Let's move into game 2 of this series, Tony. It'll be Tuesday, same time as it was tonight, 7:10 p.m. Central Time start from Kansas City. It will be Brad Keller for the Royals versus Dylan Cease for the Sox. And of note here, not confirmed completely, we probably won't know officially till the lineup comes out on Tuesday afternoon, but Eloy Jimenez likely to play at left field. How does that make you feel?
Jonnie, a few things have come to recent light, and just me being somebody who needs to stay on brand. I'll say it grinds my gears a little bit, because I'd love to see Eloy Jimenez continue to DH, but I do understand the way the game baseball works, and you need to spell people a few times. It's going to depend on who we see at DH. Is it Jose Abreu's turn to DH? And, what do you have to do there? Are you trying to rest? Are you going to put Andrew Vaughn on the bench, or are you going to throw Andrew Vaughn at first base and give Jose Abreu a day off? It's all going to depend on how Tony La Russa throws the lineup out there, but you can't expect that Eloy Jimenez is going to be the DH every single game, just because other guys are going to need a break. Would you rather their bats be in the lineup? Because you shake this thing down, and if Eloy Jimenez is your de facto DH every single game, because I don't think anybody's going to take his bat out of the lineup and ride him on the bench, where else do you go with him? Right? Like I would probably be more upset, Johnny. Just this is me being completely honest. I would be more upset if Eloy Jimenez was only DHing the rest of the year, and if you need to give Andrew Vaughn a little bit of a break, that he's going to be on the bench instead of just throwing Eloy out there for a game. I think the most important part here is that Eloy Jimenez cannot be self-destructive when he's in left field. That's the key to me, because if Eloy Jimenez goes out there into left field and is self-destructive in minimal playing time and hurts himself trying to overdo something in a game against the Kansas City Royals 2 games back and goes and gets himself hurt, there's bigger picture things at play here. He needs to realize the situation. Yes, you want to win every ball game. Yes, I love the aggressiveness, and it's kind of almost hypocritical to say, but I love the aggressiveness of the Sens. I love the aggressiveness of the coaching staff and everything that they're doing here to try and win every single ball game. But I want Eloy Jimenez's bat in the lineup in October. Yes. That's the most important thing here. He needs to be able to get himself there healthy. So if it means pulling up on a baseball every now and then instead of trying to dive for it or jump over the fence to rob a home run or do something spectacular, I'm okay with that, because there is a happy medium here that needs to be met. And I don't expect him to be your everyday left fielder at this point. I think Andrew Vaughn has earned that role at this point in time. But these are good problems to have, Johnny. These are not, who the fuck do we have to play left field here? We're trying a bunch of guys out, 2018 type White Sox problems. When you have options like this, it's available to you. Eloy Jimenez just has to help himself here. And that's all that I ask that he does. But you damn well know that the first time I see him run into a fucking net or run into a wall trying to do something just stupid, I'm going to have words for it. So that's how I feel.
This all kicked off. You offered a great explanation there, and I agree wholeheartedly with the points, especially about the kind of find the happy medium there. I really like the way you described that. But turning that question around on myself, how I started that was, how do you feel about it? I'll answer my own question here. How do I feel about it? I'm nervous, Tony. I am, because this guy, we talked about it. We touched on it very briefly yesterday, but for all intents and purposes, relative to look at other personalities in terms of skill, age level, whatever that you're talking about among the White Sox roster, Eloy Jimenez is still a little bit immature. Let's not that's just his personality. It's his sort of, aura, and it's fun loving. I get it. And that's great for clubhouse chemistry. And, he said he was, so excited to be back with the boys. And I love that aspect of it. But when that translates over into physical things that can affect him, especially his arms, his legs, any part of his body, his pec muscle, as we've seen, and we've seen him injure himself multiple times in the field. So it just makes me nervous. That's just where I'll leave it. And I really hope he can kind of do that sort of happy medium approach like you had talked about there.
Well, and some of that's going to come with maturity, and hopefully the White Sox coaching staff can kind of preach that to him. And I think that there's enough leaders on this team to kind of instill that in his head right now, how important he is going to be to this team down the stretch. And that I think Jose Abreu would be okay if Eloy Jimenez didn't try and rob a home run that was 20 feet over the wall. And some of that's going to be situational awareness. But, the good thing about this is, and this is just me being, kind of, devil's advocate to myself and how I feel about everything. I think Eloy can learn and grow. and try and not do some of that stuff. But in the good side to this, it's always Eloy trying to do something to help the ball club. I would be a little bit more angry with some of it, and probably even more pissed off. It was just absolutely boneheaded type
That's
decisions. True. Like, Eloy's a gamer. He wants to win every single game. He's trying to rob home runs in a spring training game because he wants to win. So if Eloy can kind of taper that and tell himself like, hey, I want to win, but I also want to win a championship. I should not try and make this play because I'm going to put myself and my team at risk. I think he can learn and grow from that. And I hope he's got the right guys around him to help him get there. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that we continue to see the same Eloy that we've seen before, and all the points that I've made and, the same reason that you're nervous, continue to play out. And that's going to be a flaw in Eloy's game. And that could be the defining moment as to whether or not this guy's a Hall of Famer or he spends half of his career on the injured list. So it's up to him to make those determinations and mature at a fast rate and continue to either be a player who has Hall of Fame potential, which I think he does, or be a guy that is going to, continuously be injured due to his own detriment. And, that's up to him.
Yeah. Well said there. So we'll see how it plays out. Eloy expected to play left field tomorrow. Obviously won't know for sure until the White Sox lineup drops. One last storyline for this game before we close it out, Tony, is Brad Keller on the mound for the Royals. We all know the history. So Tim Anderson, it's been a little bit, I think, since we've seen him really light him up for something. I think this would be a good way to ignite the ball club, especially, we talk about Timmy being the straw that stirs the drink, something real emotional, real big hit, maybe, just to start the game that, we talked about getting going early. I think this could be the perfect storm for him if Timmy is ready to, take that on and be a little fiery for our White Sox here.
So here's something that this might come off a little bit hot. This might come off a little bit, I don't know. Some people may not like the way this goes down, but I think that Tim Anderson needs to start to be more of an asshole. I don't feel like he's had that same energy maybe since that whole Royals debacle. I want Tim Anderson to start getting under opponents' skin, specifically within the AL Central. You've seen him do that before. Obviously, the Brad Keller, the history that's all there with the Royals. I want Tim Anderson to start showboating more. And I know that Tony La Russa is going to hate it, and I know that there's going to be storylines that are driven from it. But I like the controversy. We've talked about this on this show before, and I think I've given a pretty damn well good explanation as to why I like this. Despite the fact that this team right now is relatively calm and people are calling for, bad hit and run calls and everything, this team has played way better when there's a ton of controversy and a ton of, just like storylines about the team and how dysfunctional it is. I want Tim Anderson to go out there in the next home run. I want him to showboat the shit out of it. Be that asshole. There was an interview with Tim Anderson the other day where he was asked who's the most exciting player in baseball, and he said, me. Be that exciting player. Create storylines. Raise hell. Be an asshole. Bat flip. Showboat. Do what you're out there saying that you're going to do. Jonnie, he's been relatively quiet in that regard. You see Fernando Tatis hit a home run and he stops and he kind of dances around the base pass. I want to see Tim Anderson do the same thing, because if he wants to actually change the game and be that guy who's the most exciting player in baseball, if he's really the bad kid that doesn't listen, I want to see that from him. I want to see that energy, and I want to see him actually go out there and create controversy. Yeah, I love it. I want the headlines. I want the debate. I want White Sox Twitter to go just burn itself down over the fact that this guy is going out there and doing some ridiculous shit. And he's not doing that right now. Everything is relatively calm. Go out there and create a mess. Yeah. Create a fire. Be that guy that's the most exciting guy. Be that guy who's polarizing. Showboat some shit. Do what you say that you're going to do all the fucking time, and create that. We're ready for that mess, and I think that the team actually thrives on some of that stuff rather than this relatively quiet, 500 type baseball that they're playing right now. go light a fire under these guys. Be the straw that stirs the drink.
And the White Sox need a fire right now, Tony. It's just been lethargic. That's the best way I can describe. Even the wins outside of, obviously the Lance Lynn stuff was really exciting. And he always is when he's on the mound, and obviously getting a hit, a rare circumstance with the AL pitchers not hitting, obviously. He played in an NL ballpark. You do that. Outside of that, though, it's been fairly lethargic as of late. And granted, this is a small, basically since the very last game of the Twins series through the weekend and then into this opener of the KC series. But I don't like to wait a week for that stuff to come back. Let's have that more regularly. So I like that. I want Anderson could be the guy to drive it, especially with the guy who's on the mound for the Royals tomorrow.
I want Tim Anderson to piss Tony La Russa off. That's what I want.
There you go. All right. That about wraps it up for tonight's show. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. Everybody in the live stream here. Thanks for dropping by, leaving comments here. We always appreciate it. The show is presented by OnTapSportsNet.com. Make sure you're visiting there for all Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. You can follow us on social media at Sox on Tap and at OnTap Sportsnet. Show is also brought to you by Grandstand. Make sure you are visiting them right by the ballpark, 35th and Wallace, for all White Sox merchandising needs, Chicago sports as well. You can follow them on social media at Grandstand Sox. Visit them online and shop there, grandstandsox.com. Tony, flush this one. Hopefully a little more spark, a little more energy tomorrow. Let's get back on track here with these White Sox.
Let's do it, Johnny.
White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.